So is Batman versus Superman as bad as people say it is? Well, the answer is yes and no.
Let's talk about that. I missed. What's up, everybody? I'm Jake. Welcome to the official Plugged In podcast.
Did you forget something?
I don't think I forgot anything.
I'm Paul.
Team Batman. Don't just ignore this. I'm Team Superman.
Yeah.
And I'm Team Abraham Lincoln.
Well, who would not be Team Abraham Lincoln? You know?
Are you Team Abraham Lincoln? I hope so. All right, but we're not talking about Abraham Lincoln today. As you heard in our teaser, we're talking about Batman versus Superman.
Man, this podcast is just 30 seconds old, and already it's way off the tracks.
Which is appropriate when we're talking about a movie like this.
That was a good segue.
Thank you. I don't like segues. I fell off one once.
You did not.
Did I use that joke before? I stole it from Frank Caliendo anyways. All right.
Anyway, let's talk Batman
BVS.
versus Superman. So we're going to talk about two things today. We're going to talk about, number one, the movie. We're going to talk
bad, and ugly.
Yep. And then we're also going to talk about, two, the spirituality of it. Because there was a lot of spirituality in this thing.
Yeah, there was.
So, first, we should probably give some warnings. This may have spoilers in it.
This will have spoilers in it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that for Paul.
It will have spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and don't want to know what it's in it, hold on.
Turn this off.
Yeah.
Read.
You
Figure out what if you're not gonna see the movie,
Yeah.
keep watching.
Yeah.
Like if you don't care about spoilers.
Yeah. Well, and you've already.
But if you care and you've made the decision to watch the movie, watch it, then come back and join us.
Exactly.
Because you're gonna have lots of questions, and just like we did, and we're gonna talk through those.
Well, and you know what you could do? You could watch it now. You could watch it again. You could watch it a third time, and it would just make us happy because we would get more views.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Oh, and the other thing that
What was the other
let you
there
know,
were two alerts.
We have to let you know that if you do decide to go watch it, this is a pretty intense superhero movie. Very intense.
Superhero movie alert.
Lots of violence. Strangely, a little bit of sexual content. So we don't usually see a lot of that in...
When you say it that way, it sounds super creepy.
So anyway, let's dive into the movie.
Get into it.
Yeah, so Jake and I actually saw this movie a few nights ago.
We did? About a week ago?
Yep, drove up to Denver. Saw it. It was a disappointing experience for both of us, don't you think?
Overall. I mean, when you have to sit next to Paul for 2.5 hours,
well,
it's really hard to like anything that you're watching.
Yeah,
That's
disappointing.
And
it's just sad.
I think he ate onions and garlic for dinner,
well,
just because he knew he was going to the movies.
I didn't want you to make a habit of this. See, usually I like my space at these movies.
I bug him too much, and I'm like, Paul, when are you going to take me? Paul, when are you going to take me? Okay, but no, with the movie itself. It felt uneven to me, like it didn't know what it wanted to be. Right. And I guess there was something I liked about that, in that I like ambitious movies. I like movies that want to wrestle with deeper issues.
Sure.
Than, there's an alien we have to kill.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for killing aliens,
Well,
potentially.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
that's not have plugged ins there.
Yeah.
No killing aliens.
They could be really nice. They could be super nice.
They could be super nice, like E.T.
Yeah.
So I like that it seemed like it wanted to dive into deeper issues and wrestle with the implications of these heroes and their actions. But on the flip side of that coin, and why I left disappointed, was that really felt promise of a deeper storyline felt unfulfilled, and it ended up just kind of feeling like a product launch.
Yeah, no, I think that's really true. I think that the thing that stressed me out the most about this movie was that it was a really long movie. Yeah. First of all, it was 2.5 hours, and it felt really long at times. It felt like it dragged. But at the same time, they really just only gave a lot of these deeper subjects lip service.
Right, literally.
Yeah.
One line.
Yeah, and so I think that they could have spent a little bit more time with story development. They could have spent a lot more time with character development. The superheroes that we meet here were all very two-dimensional, and that was really disappointing. I mean, because when you're talking about Batman, Superman,
right,
they're the two most iconic superheroes in the entire universe, as far as we know.
Right.
And there's a lot of history involved with these characters. There's a lot of depth that has developed over the last 80 years that these folks have been around. And it didn't seem like there was much effort taken to develop the characters that we meet, or even understand the characters as we've known them for so many years. I mean, one of the things that we've talked about before was that the Batman here, I don't think Ben Affleck did a bad job necessarily.
No, I mean, to sad Ben Affleck's credit, I wanted to get to know your Batman better.
Yeah, but the thing was, there are two rules that Batman really follows throughout almost his entire
with a
comic book history.
Minor exceptions.
Yeah, exactly. But one is to never kill. Number two, never to use a gun. And he seems to do both of these, and that
very
was
much so.
Very disappointing. It was not the same Batman who I had written about in my fabulous book, God on the Streets of Gotham.
As seen in front of my face right now.
I like that. Gratuitous product placement. We like that.
All right. Also, my glasses are made by... No, I'm just kidding.
So you have that, and I think for both of us, it was a disappointing movie. I was really hoping to like it, honestly.
Right. Yeah, the trailer seemed to promise something very interesting, and
and it was
thought wrestle worthy.
Yeah, and it was just way darker than it needed to be. It was way more sexual than it needed to be. It was just disappointing from a lot of different perspectives. But there was one thing that I found really interesting about it, and that was the spirituality in the movie.
Yeah. Interesting and a little bit controversial.
A little bit controversial. Even at this table, it's controversial.
Especially at this table. Like, you can't see it, but there's a dividing glass right here.
Yeah. It could be Jake versus Paul. And we all know who would win that.
Well, I don't want to brag. I do curls with my kids every day.
Yeah. Well, never mind.
Anyway. We won't get into that.
Okay. So spiritual content.
Team Jake or Team Paul? Let us know.
Anyway, going on to the spiritual context.
Spiritual content.
So this was one of the things that I found most interesting in the movie. And for those of you who don't know, Superman has always been sort of this super spiritual character in the comic book world.
Well, is he spiritual? No. Or his implications are spiritual?
His implications are spiritual. Yeah. That's a much better way of putting it. He was really started out in 1938, and there were a lot of overt efforts to make him sort of this pseudo-messiah type of a guy. Yeah. He's this alien from another world, from above, who comes down to save the world. Even his Kryptonian name, Kal-El, is interpreted by some to be voice of God. So I think that there's a lot of really interesting spiritual connotations that director Zack Snyder did pull into this. Throughout the movie, you see a lot of echoes of, I think, a Christ-like story.
Yeah, echoes and sometimes direct call-outs.
Yeah. You always have, obviously, whenever you're talking about superheroes, you have this element of sacrifice. But when it comes to Superman, particularly in this movie, the sacrifice sort of goes above and beyond. And you have a lot of callbacks to the Passion story. Yep. You have a sense of persecution. One of the most interesting things is how Superman came. And he is this really great guy who everybody loves, except not everybody loves him.
Right. Very divisive.
There's some tension there because what is this guy really after? What is he really trying to do?
Right.
And you see reflected in that a little bit of the same sort of tensions that you would have seen way back when, 2,000 years ago, when Jesus was around.
Yep.
And he obviously caused a little bit of consternation within the Jewish church at the time.
Yeah. And so you really found a lot of value in his kind of salvific qualities in the movie.
I really did.
And I wore these glasses so I could say that word, salvific, and this word, pastiche.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, tell us about pastiche.
Read a nice description here that there's going to be in the video, or I can just tell you.
Just tell us.
Pastiche, though, is when somebody's creating a work of art, whether it's literature, movies, or whatever it is, that are specifically calling out these qualities of stories or symbols.
Right.
And so, there's a lot of that in Superman, as we talked about.
Right.
And Snyder definitely hits on that.
Right.
With these images of this godlike super hero levitating and coming down from the sky, and the common masses reaching out to touch his clothing.
So many images like that.
And Lex Luthor talking about he's always talking about God and angels and demons, and so I mean really it's drawing a lot of parallels between that. But for me, ultimately, I felt like the tone of the movie turned that dial just a little bit.
Right.
And was actually more humanistic in the way it kind of ultimately played the story out. Because for me, when Superman hits a critical point in his story arc, whatever, how much of a story arc there was there, like he had to turn back to humanity for inspiration and for drive and for his, for his essentially, and as I see it, for his power for the final push in the movie, versus turning to a higher power like we saw Jesus.
Right.
Like Jesus is part of the Godhead, but in the garden when it's all coming down to the wire and his human body, is weak, he turns to God. He turns to our source. And in this movie, humans are that source more than a God figure.
Yeah, and see, for me, it's interesting. We'll just talk about one critical moment in the movie where, near the end, Superman is just about he's really considering making a huge sacrifice because he's the only one who can do it, and he's talking with his girlfriend Lois Lane, and he says, "This is my world." Mm-hmm. You are my world, he says. And for me, that was a great reflection of sort of what Jesus really, in a way, exemplified when he came to sacrifice himself for us. God so loved the world, right? And so you have that sense that he is saving the world, and yet Jesus also looks at each one of us and says, in a sense, I am doing this for you, you specifically. And because of that, I found that really fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, for one, as for all. I mean, again, when we go back to that prayer in the Garden of Eden, John 17 is one of my favorite chapters in the Bible. But Jesus does, like he says, he prays for the disciples, those close ones. I do this for them, but also for those that they're going to reach. Like for them and for the world. And I think that's absolutely a beautiful truth in the scripture, is that God loved the world, and he loved everyone in the world, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish. And I think that's an absolutely, I mean, it's pivotal. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, we're really the pinnacle of his creation. Really.
And so for me, that's where I think when you have these conversations, especially in this movie, we just have to make sure that dial doesn't turn one notch to the other direction, which is where I felt Zack Snyder kind of did, is that Superman saved humans for the value inherent in themselves. Like they are the God figure. They are, and where I think what we have to remember as Christians is that our value is derived from our imago Dei. Again, the glasses. They give me powers.
You should wear those all the time, really.
But we are created in the image of God. The beauty in the world, it's absolutely there. God put it there, and he is our source. And he put that in that for all of us in community. It's a beautiful thing. So when you're having those conversations, I think it's absolutely there.
Right.
Like those images are clearly there in the movie. I felt like there was that degree twist in there. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let us know what you thought of Batman versus Superman if you saw it. Tell us what you think in the comments below. Feel free to answer on our blog where this is always posted. You can even give Jake and I a call if you want and just talk with us in person on it. No.
I'm not publishing my phone number on the internet. I'm sorry. But, okay, real quick before we go.
Yeah.
I think as we talk about whether or not this is a good Batman or Superman movie, it's good to have a bar to know where you stand. So who is your favorite movie or TV Batman and Superman?
You know, in the 6 seconds we have left, Christian Bale.
Will Arnett from the Lego Movie. And time.
We are out of time.
We're on a leash, people. And that leash is the sands of time.
Thanks for joining us here.
Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Comment on these videos. We want to talk to you, so talk to us. And we'll talk to you, because that's the way the world goes round. Not from Superman flying around it, but from people talking just like this. You and me. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining us on the official Plugged In Vodcast. I'm Jake.
I'm Paul.
We'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Thanks. Bye. Wow.